Good morning. I'm Vanessa with Heel Thyself, and this is Grand Rising, designed to wake up the body, incorporate some breath and some movement into the joints and the muscles to get you ready and energized for your day. So grab your mat, grab your block, and let's flow. We're going to begin this morning in a comfortable, easy seat position. Perhaps you pull any flesh away from your sit bones, allowing your sit bones to just be nice and stable onto the mat. Dropping the shoulders. I'm going to be cueing a lot of breath because it's important that we oxygenate our muscles as we work them and the joints. So take a nice inhale here, just bringing our minds in line with our bodies onto our mat, giving us the opportunity to be mindful and just arresting that mind. There's no other place to go. You're exactly where you need to be. There's nothing else for you to do. You're doing exactly what you need to do. Self-care. Go ahead and take a couple of full abdominal breathing. Placing your right hand on your belly. Allow your belly to expand like a balloon is in it as you inhale and filling the lungs with air, feeling the sensation of a full breath. Hold that breath, and as you exhale, allow the shoulders and maybe the jaw even to just relax. Bring the belly button all the way to the spine, pushing out those last drops of breath. Take a couple of these deep abdominal breaths at your own pace. Return that right hand to the right knee. On your next inhale, take your gaze up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, tuck the chin right into the chest, dropping the shoulders, and we're just going to begin some neck circles here. Nice and easy. Breath and gentle movement, waking up and warming up the body. Make these circles, let them be what you need, as wide or small as you need. Last time in this direction, bring the head to stillness and then take it in the opposite direction. Nice and easy. Now be mindful of those shoulders, especially if you have a lot of tension, a lot of tech neck. They tend to just hunch up all the time. Bring your conscious awareness to those shoulders throughout your practice this morning. Last time in this direction, bring the head to stillness in the main line of your body. That's the direct center. On your next inhale, hunch the shoulders up towards the ears, nice and exaggerated, and then back towards the back body, down towards the mat, and forward. That's a real dramatic shoulder rolls, but take a couple of these at your own pace, at your own breath and rhythm. Nice and easy. Last time in this direction, we're going to take this in the opposite direction. Bring the shoulders to stillness. Root those hands right on top of those knees. And as you inhale, shift the torso forward and then begin some torso circles. Now here the movement is at the hip joints, right at that hip fold, right down in this area. Now you want to, again, be mindful of those sit bones because they have the tendency to kind of bow up. So as much as your body will allow, keep those sit bones on the mat. Last time in this direction, pause in the center and then take this into the opposite direction. Let these movements be exactly what your body needs. So tune your awareness in. Do what feels good. Maybe you had some shoulder work up in here. Last time in this direction. Bring the body to stillness. Lengthen and straighten the vertebrae. Extend the hands up and over into volcano. Gazing in between your fingertips. Reach. Kind of extending the shoulders out the socket. And as you exhale, bring your hands to heart center. Your gaze is right at your hands. Do that again. Inhale for volcano, gazing in between your fingertips and reach. Exhale, hands come to heart center. Last time. Inhale for volcano, hold here, gaze between your fingertips, reach. On this next exhale, allow the right fingertips to come to the right side body, resting on the mat. And as you exhale, reach to the right side of the body for a left side body stretch. Hold here. Take a nice inhale and exhale. If you want to deepen this stretch, take your gaze up towards the ceiling, keeping that armpit reaching towards the ceiling and reaching with those left fingertips. Last breath here. On your next inhale, lift the torso, extend both hands back up towards the ceiling, reach, and as you exhale, we're going to take that on the opposite side. Left hand, left side of the mat, right hand reaches up and over. Keep those armpits up. The shoulders have a tendency to droop. Take your gaze up towards the ceiling and reach with those right fingertips. And breathe and breathe. Last breath here. Inhale, both hands come for volcano. Exhale, hands come down to heart center. Inhale for volcano. As you exhale, twist the whole torso at the hips to the left side body. Right hand falls to the left knee. Left hand comes to the back of the spine, using it as a kickstand for torso twists. Keeping the shoulders squared and down. The vertebrae is straight. We're going to hold here for 2 more breaths. Once this feels nice and stable, take your gaze over your left shoulder to deepen this stretch a little bit. These torso twists are really good in aiding the digestion, stimulating the kidneys and the spleen and all those internal organs. We're going to hold for 1 more breath. And when you inhale, really engage those abs. On your next exhale, release the bind. Extend the hands up towards the ceiling for volcano. And as you exhale, we're going to take this right on the opposite side. Turning the torso to the right, left hand, right knee, right hand towards the back is a kickstand. Straightening and lengthening the spine. And hold here. On your next exhale, perhaps you take your gaze over your right shoulder, engaging the abs. On your next inhale, release this bind. Extend for volcano, gazing in between your fingertips. Exhale, hands to heart center. Now meet me in a tabletop position. In tabletop, we're on our hands and knees. Your knees are hip distance apart, not too wide, not too close. Your palms are flat on the mat, directly underneath the shoulder blades. All 10 fingers are extended like starfish. Your toes are pointing away from you. We're going to do a couple of cat-cows. Here's the roadmap. For cow, we extend our gaze up towards the ceiling and allowing our hips to tilt towards the ceiling as we drop the belly down. This is cow. And as you exhale into cat, tuck the chin, roll out the spine, and really press the hands into the mat and allowing the pelvic to tilt forward, bringing that belly button to the spine like a Halloween cat. Inhale for cow, lifting the head and the hips towards the ceiling. Exhale, tuck and roll for cat. Belly button to spine. Do a couple of these at your own pace and at your own rhythm, incorporating breath and movement into the body. Do one more of these in each direction. One more cow, one more cat. Now bring the body to stillness in tabletop. Now we're just going to take some hip circles in tabletop. Allow the hips to just make as small or as wide as circles. Bring the hips to one side of the body. Then the shoulders slightly extend past the wrists. Then the other side. And then allowing the hips to fall down, almost in a child's pose. Do what feels good here. Maybe you add some shoulder work. Find where the tension is happening in your body and just add some breath and movement. We're still at the warm-up phase here. Last time in this direction, bring the body to stillness and then just take this on the opposite side. Breath and movement, nice and easy. Last time in this direction, bring the body to stillness. Now widen your knee stance just a bit because we're going to take a nice inhale, and as you exhale, bring the hips down towards the heel for a wild thing, child's pose, allowing the torso to fold into the mat in the space between your thighs, allowing that third eye on the forehead. This is wild thing, a variation of child's pose. It is an active rest pose. And I invite you to come into this pose in any time during your flow that you need to catch your breath or it just feels right. Keep breathing. On your next inhale, take your gaze in between your palms and lift the torso back into tabletop. Curl those toes under, lift the hips up towards the ceiling, and then shift the hips back for our first downward dog of this practice, tucking the chin into the chest. Now pressing the chest towards the thighs. Your palms are rooted into the mat, and the crown of your head is going towards the mat. Now pedal your dog by bending one knee at a time, incorporating a little movement in the hips, calves, hamstrings. One more time on each direction. Come to stillness. On your next inhale, lift the heels by coming up on the balls of your feet. And as you exhale, allow the heels to come towards the mat. Towards is just a direction, not the destination. If your feet don't touch the mat, that's fine. Take a couple of these. Inhale, lifting the heels, engaging the calves and the quads. Exhale, lowering them down. Last time here. Inhale, lift the heels. Exhale, floating the heels down. On that next inhale, take your gaze in between your palms and walk into our first forward fold. Take a nice exhale. Now here, if you need to use a block, feel free. It's there for you. Tuck the chin, Take a nice steady exhale, and on each exhale, either hold the stretch or see if your body will allow you to come into a deeper stretch or not. This is your choice, your body, your practice. If this feels good, feel free to grasp behind the calves, and on your next exhale, tuck the chin, forward fold. Release the bind in your hands, placing your hands right back onto the mat. Slight bend in the knees as we root. In rooting, we're pushing the heels and the toes into the mat as we slowly, ever so slowly, lift the torso, straightening the knees directly over the ankles, and lining up the hips directly above the knees. Last thing that comes up is the shoulders, and they align directly over the hips. The shoulders fall down towards the mat. The palms are facing forward. This is your Tadasana. On your next inhale, lift your hands for volcano. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale into flat back. The hands rest on the calves. Your back is flat, as if you had a teacup in the small of your back. Exhale, forward fold. Tuck that chin. Slight bend in the knees. Inhale for volcano. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Tuck that chin, slight bend in the knees. Inhale for volcano. Exhale, forward fold. Feel free to bend those knees as much as you'd like. Let this flow feel nice and easy. Inhale for flat back. Exhale, forward fold. We're just warming up the body. Inhale for volcano. Here's another option for a forward fold. Bending the knees, bringing the hands together in front of you into a forward fold. Either way works. Your body, your choice, your practice. Inhale for forward fold. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Last time, root to rise for volcano. Reach, exhale, hands to heart center. Hands come down for your Tadasana. Now come to the east-west portion of your mat. Extending the legs out wide. Preparing for a wide-legged forward fold. Inhale for volcano. Gazing in between your fingertips. Exhale, extending the arms out towards the side and then bending at the hips. Keeping the arms extended. Wide-legged forward fold. Placing your palms on the mat. Now here, you're going to have to heel toe, and find your own distance because everybody's body is going to be a little different here. If you feel like you need to use the block, that's why I always keep one handy, because some days your body will do an asana and then some days it won't. Whatever you feel, whatever you need, just do it. So we hold this asana for about 2 to 3 breaths, and on each exhale, bend the elbows and allow the torso to come closer to the mat. Now you can stay exactly where you are and allow the hamstrings and the glutes to open. Or if it's in your practice, Bring the forearms down and allow the crown of the head onto the mat and breathe. On your next inhale, lift the torso, add a slight bend into the knees as you heel toe all the way up into a nice forward fold. Slight bend in the knees as we root to rise. To volcano, exhale, forward fold. We're in the home stretch, and meet me in a seated position. Get down onto the mat in whatever slow, comfortable, easy way that your body will allow. Once you're onto your mat, come into a staff pose. Legs are extended in front of you, toes are facing the ceiling. Your hands are in a palm starfish position right on the side body. Take a nice inhale, drop the shoulders, take the gaze towards the ceiling. Exhale, tuck the chin. On your next inhale, extend the hands in front of you as if you were holding a beach ball. Lift the torso, the spine lengthens. On your next exhale, slowly, when you feel those abs firing, I want you to hold here for 3, 2, 1. Exhale, bring the torso all the way down to the mat. Get comfortable on your mat as we are in corpse pose. Bend the left knee, extend the right leg straight up into the ceiling. Take a couple of ankle circles here in whatever direction you'd like. Pause and then take this in the opposite direction. Come to stillness. Take a nice inhale. Allow the shoulders to drop into the mat, and as you exhale, bend the right knee and place the right ankle on the left knee. Allow that right thigh to fall away and gently push that right thigh just for a slight opening. On your next inhale, bring the right sole of your feet down to the mat to meet the left. Taking this on the opposite side, extending the left foot for our figure 4 on the opposite side. We're going to take a couple of ankle circles here. Come to stillness, taking this into the opposite direction. On your next inhale, bring the left knee over the right thigh. Take that left hand and gently push that left thigh away from the torso and bring your awareness to that hip joint. No judgment, just notice what you feel. On your next exhale, bring the left foot right back down onto the mat. Now, bring the soles of your feet to the outer edges of your mat. Inhale as your knees are facing toward the ceiling. Exhale, allow simultaneously both knees to fall to the left side body for windshield wipers. Inhale, both knees come towards the ceiling. Exhale, shifting to the right side body. Now take a couple of these at your own pace, at your own breath. Try to keep that lumbar spine stable onto the mat. So whatever you need to do to get relaxed in Savasana is exactly what you need to do. If you need to place a block underneath both of your knees to take some of the weight off of your back, then that's fine. If you need to even come into a fetal position, you're free to take Savasana here. Also, One of my favorite ways to take Savasana is what we call legs against the wall. It looks like this. As a matter of fact, I think this is exactly how I'll take my Savasana today, because it stimulates the lymphatic system. Legs against the wall is my favorite way to take Savasana because it cools me down almost instantaneously. It stimulates the lymphatic system. It's excellent for the cardiovascular, and it's considered an inversion. Okay, so I'm going to stop talking and allow you your Savasana in peace. Begin to bring your awareness back to your body and back to the room. Perhaps you wiggle your fingers and your toes. If you were with me with legs against the wall, bend your knees into your torso. Shift your knees to one side as you gently come into a fetal position. And if you're in corpse pose, gently bring yourself into a fetal position on whatever side you'd like. And just pause here for a moment. Take a nice inhale and exhale. And when you're ready, take your free hand and root up into a nice, gentle, easy seat position. I'd like to seal our practice with 3 deep abdominal breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Last breath here. Inhale and exhale. Let's seal our practice together, hands to heart center. The highest that is in me honors and bows down to the highest in you. Namaste. Sat Nam. You are truth. Thank you for flowing with me.